The idea that honesty is the best policy seems a quaint, almost ridiculous notion when confronted with the cold, hard evolutionary data. In fact, humanity's ascent to global dominance wasn't just built on tools and cooperation, it was arguably cemented by an unparalleled capacity for intricate, multifaceted deception. Our ancient ancestors, far from being paragons of truth, were likely master manipulators, survivalists who understood that the quickest path to a better meal, a safer cave, or a higher social standing often involved a carefully constructed falsehood. We instinctively recoil at the thought, trained by millennia of moralizing to view lying as a cardinal sin. Yet its deep roots in our very biology suggest something far more complex, a survival mechanism, perhaps as fundamental as fight or flight. How did a trait seemingly so antithetical to the communal bonds necessary for early human survival become not just tolerated, but actively advantageous, a hidden engine of our species' improbable success? The paradox is stark. Cooperation requires trust, but complex social life, it turns out, thrives on the subtle, often unseen architecture of strategically deployed lies. From the earliest hominids, navigating perilous landscapes teeming with predators and rivals, the ability to mislead, to misdirect, to conceal intention represented a potent, invisible weapon. A primate faking an alarm call to gain exclusive access to a food source is a rudimentary lie, a simple, instinctual deception. But human lies evolved beyond such raw, immediate impulses, blossoming into an intricate art form, a cognitive superpower that allowed for planning, plotting, and manipulating not just the present, but the potential future. The leap from a chimp's feigned injury to a Homo sapiens' meticulously crafted alibi for a stolen kill represents a chasm of cognitive complexity, a profound evolutionary divergence that demands a deeper explanation. This wasn't merely about avoiding physical danger. It was about navigating the treacherous currents of social currency, reputation, and the delicate balance of power within nascent communities. The mechanisms behind this profound shift, the neurological architecture, and the social pressures that forged humanity into a species capable of such sophisticated falsehoods remain largely obscured by the mists of prehistory, waiting to be unearthed. The true evolutionary departure for human deception wasn't simply the act of lying, but the profound cognitive architecture that enabled it, the theory of mind. While other species demonstrate rudimentary forms of deception, they often operate on a behavioral level, reacting to observed actions without necessarily inferring internal mental states. A squirrel burying nuts, then pretending to bury more elsewhere, is an impressive act of misdirection, but it lacks the critical element of understanding that another squirrel believes those false burial sites are real. Humans, however, develop the unparalleled ability to attribute beliefs, desires, intentions, and perspectives to others, recognizing that other minds could hold information different from their own, or indeed from reality itself. This wasn't a sudden mutation, but a gradual, agonizingly complex neurological refinement, likely tied to the expansion of the prefrontal cortex and the intricate neural networks governing social cognition. With theory of mind, our ancestors could not only predict how another individual might react to an action, but more critically, how they might interpret a piece of information, or what they might believe based on a given set of cues. This cognitive leap transformed deception from a crude reaction into a deliberate, anticipatory strategy. Imagine a hunter returning empty-handed, fabricating a story about a massive, elusive beast to avoid shame, knowing his peers would believe his narrative because he understood their expectations and vulnerabilities. Or a territorial dispute, where one group convinces another through elaborate feints and misleading signals that their numbers are far greater, avoiding a costly physical confrontation. The ability to model another's mind allowed for the deliberate construction of false realities, not just simple concealment. It became possible to plant an idea, to sow doubt, to manipulate perceptions rather than just actions. This sophisticated internal mapping of others' mental landscapes was the bedrock upon which truly human-level deceit was built, providing an almost unfair advantage in the brutally competitive arenas of ancient survival and social climbing. With the cognitive hardware for advanced deception in place, the pressures of complex social living provided the software upgrades. Ancient human communities, unlike solitary predators, were inherently cooperative enterprises. Yet, cooperation breeds conflict, and conflict, especially within a group, is incredibly costly. This is where subtle deception, far from being purely malicious, became a crucial social lubricant, a quiet mechanism for maintaining order and cohesion. Imagine a communal hunt where one individual consistently underperforms, but is a valuable social connector. A leader might subtly exaggerate his contributions, maintaining group morale and avoiding ostracization that could splinter the fragile collective. Or consider the constant jostling for status and resources. Instead of resorting to violent dominance displays, which risk injury and destabilize the group, an individual could employ strategic misrepresentation, boasting about fabricated exploits, downplaying rivals' achievements, or feigning disinterest in a contested resource they secretly coveted. These weren't outright malicious lies aimed at destruction, but rather carefully calibrated deceptions designed to manage perceptions, mitigate envy, and prevent open confrontation. A small lie about where a valuable tool was found could avert a fight over credit. A diplomatic omission about a perceived slight could prevent a vendetta. This intricate dance of veiled truths and convenient falsehoods allowed early human groups to navigate the inherent tensions of living in close quarters with limited resources. It enabled individuals to pursue self-interest without completely unraveling the collective, to climb the social ladder without sparking an all-out war. The economic impact was indirect but profound. Reduced internal conflict meant more resources could be directed towards external threats, improving group survival rates. The collective capacity for white lies and social maneuvering became an invisible glue, ensuring that the benefits of cooperation weren't constantly undermined by the raw, untamed impulses of individual ambition. The moment deception became an effective strategy, an equally powerful evolutionary pressure emerged: the need to detect it. This ignited an ancient arms race, a relentless cycle of increasingly sophisticated lies met by increasingly acute lie detection capabilities, each driving the other to new heights of complexity. Our ancestors weren't just evolving to tell better lies, they were simultaneously evolving to spot them. Neurologically, this meant the refinement of systems involved in reading facial microexpressions, interpreting subtle body language cues, discerning shifts in vocal tone, and identifying inconsistencies in narrative. A flickering eye, an involuntary swallow, a slight hesitation in speech, these became crucial data points. The stakes were incredibly high. Believing a lie could lead to starvation, betrayal, or even death. Consequently, those individuals best equipped to spot deception were more likely to survive, thrive, and pass on their genes. But this wasn't a one-sided adaptation. As detection methods improved, liars were forced to become more adept. They learned to control their physiological responses, to maintain eye contact, to craft more believable stories with fewer contradictions, to even believe their own lies to reduce telltale signs of cognitive dissonance. This constant feedback loop pushed the boundaries of human social cognition. It shaped our inherent skepticism, our tendency to scrutinize narratives, and our often unconscious assessment of trustworthiness. Consider the neurological strain. Detecting a lie requires immense cognitive resources, rapidly processing a torrent of verbal and nonverbal information, comparing it against established baselines, and inferring malicious intent. Conversely, crafting a convincing lie also demands significant mental effort, requiring the liar to maintain a consistent false reality while suppressing the truth. The very structure of our brains, particularly the regions associated with social cognition and executive function, were undeniably molded by this ancient, ongoing battle between truth and falsehood, making us, perhaps ironically, both the planet's most accomplished deceivers and its most vigilant lie detectors. This co-evolutionary dance is a testament to the profound and enduring role of deception in shaping the human condition. The legacy of this evolutionary arms race is undeniable, etched into the very fabric of human civilization. We built complex legal systems designed to uncover truth and punish deception, even as we simultaneously perfected the art of strategic omission and plausible deniability in diplomacy and commerce. Our myths and religions, ostensibly bastions of truth and morality, are replete with figures who deceive, mislead, and manipulate for grander, often self-serving purposes. From trickster gods to prophets who weave compelling narratives, the power of a well-told story, true or otherwise, has always held sway. The modern world, far from transcending ancient deceptions, merely refined them.
Marketing relies on carefully constructed illusions of need and desire. Politics operates on an intricate dance of spin, deflection, and strategically timed revelations. Even personal relationships, despite their veneer of authenticity, are often navigated through a delicate balance of convenient truths and unspoken agreements, avoiding uncomfortable realities to maintain peace. The fundamental question isn't if humans lie, but how often and how skillfully. Statistics consistently show that the average person tells several lies a day, many of them minor white lies intended to preserve social harmony, much like our ancient ancestors used them to prevent conflict. But the capacity for grander, more destructive deceptions persists, a testament to its enduring effectiveness. We are a species that simultaneously craves honesty and practices pervasive dishonesty, a paradox born from the crucible of survival. Our ancestors learned to lie not out of malice, but out of necessity, transforming a moral failing into a functional adaptation. The ultimate irony, perhaps, is that for all our technological advancements and moral introspection, we remain creatures fundamentally shaped by the ancient calculating minds that understood sometimes the most effective way to ensure the group's survival and your own is to simply make something up. We are and have always been a species that lies to live.